Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894 podcast. I'm Hugh and I've got Dara here with me for a City Spurs preview, a massive game on Saturday, which we're really looking forward to. Stick with us for the second half of the video where we have a Spurs fan on to give his perspective and his thoughts on the game. So we look forward to speaking to him. But Dara, first, let's break it down from a City perspective. We're 15 wins the bounce, but there's no denying that Spurs are a bogey team for us in the past couple of years. We've not beat Spurs in 3 games. That's not a good result. I think the last game we lost was actually against Spurs, if I'm not mistaken. What are your thoughts going into the game?
I'm a bit more confident. I'm more confident than I have been the last few games going into Spurs. But it's not going to be easy. But if it plays the right way, plays the right tactics, I think it'd be hard enough for us to lose it.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think we can all agree Mourinho's going to go with his typical Mourinho ball. We've seen him do it with United, and he's now doing it with Spurs. He puts 11 men behind the ball, and then he hopes the big men, Kane and Son, can come through and deliver the goods. How do we counteract that? Do you think it's just a matter of keeping those two guys quiet and then letting us do our usual thing?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've now got a set in stone partnership. We've got Diaz and we've got John Stones in the partnership. I think they'll have a good enough understanding of each other to be able to keep them quiet. Because like Liverpool, I didn't hear Firmino's name once. They just completely put him out of the game. Whether he's a defensive striker or not, it doesn't matter. He still plays up there. He was kept completely quiet except for one shot he took. And no, again, the only mistake of any form Diaz has really made so far was the penalty, and that was contentious. So
Diaz during the week was reported to have a bit of an issue with his stomach, some sort of an illness. We really hope he's fit, obviously, because he's crucial to our defense. But I want to talk a little bit about the midfield. We've just got news, literally before we hit the record button for this, that Rodri has trained with the City team. So I think that points in the direction that he's going to play on Saturday. How crucial is that, do you reckon?
I mean, it definitely fills you even more confidence because I mean we did a take of this where we thought it was going to be Fernandinho, and I think now with Rodri in there, I'm a lot more confident. He's come on leaps and bounds. Obviously got 2 assists yesterday. I think he misplaced one pass yesterday, and he out of like 85 or something. Like he's everything's running through him at the minute. I think he's crucial to keep in there.
Yeah, I think he's changed up his game a little bit. He used to be quite a sideways defensive player that would pass backwards, just ball retention. But now he's actually quite crucial to the attack. He's actually quite involved in building attack, isn't he?
Yeah. Hopefully Aguero can come back in as well. I'd say he will be on the bench. I'm not 100% sure. What do you think?
Yeah, didn't we get the word there? Was it yesterday that Aguero's back in training? He's doing a bit with the squad and a bit in his own. I don't know. I love Aguero, and obviously I want to see him back as soon as possible. I just don't know, is it too soon? Because obviously we've rushed Aguero back from his injury or his illnesses, whatever he's had in the past, quite quickly before. So I don't know. Maybe we give him a little bit more patience and see can he come back maybe for the first leg of the Champions League game, get 20 minutes out of him in that game, and just build on that for the end of the season. Because there's obviously a lot of big games, and the games are coming thick and fast. But what do you? I want to ask you a little bit about the attack as well, because it's obviously something that chops and changes a lot. Do you want to see a false 9 or a general striker, like an out-and-out striker against Spurs?
I think now I'd be happy with either, but this game I think we're gonna have to be direct. I think we will need a striker. We'll need someone obviously to score goals. We'll need someone to take chances in this. Which like if Jesus, like we said yesterday, Jesus he wasn't in the box for some crosses, but when he was in the box, he scored. The one chance he actually took in the box, he scored. I think if we have someone like him to actually put away the chances there, which obviously a lot of people can, but I think we need a striker to play against him.
Jesus is in fine form recently, isn't he? He's got a few goals in consecutive games now, so hopefully his confidence is high. And to be fair to him, he probably has actually earned a start. I've not always been Jesus' biggest fan, but I think he probably has earned a start. But I'd equally be as happy to see a false 9 because that system seems to be working wonders for the team at the moment. I want to talk a little bit about the mental aspect of things going into this game. Like I said at the start of the video, Spurs have been a bogey team for us in the past few years. You know, they knocked us out of the Championship in controversial fashion, or the Champions League, sorry, I should say, in controversial fashion. And then they were the last team to beat us in the Premier League. Do you think that will have a mental effect on the team and Pep going into this game?
Well, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be in the back of my mind, but I think we're just in such a good confident form at the minute. I don't know how much it will actually affect. I know it'll be there, but it's a matter of whether how much it's going to affect them or not.
Yeah, you have to think that if you can beat Liverpool at Anfield the week before, in the current form Spurs are in, which is 4 losses out of 5, which is quite poor. That we could go out and do a job on them on Saturday, what?
Yeah, 100%. I think we're just there's only what a loss is the only thing that'll pour our confidence down at the minute, and we haven't. We should be going into this sky high confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this game anyway. We're going to put our predicted 11, our City's predicted 11 on the screen now. So let us know in the comments as usual if you agree with us, if you would change anything for the game, if there's anyone in particular you'd like to see be given game time or even come off the bench, let us know. And stick with us because we're now going to go into the segment where we speak to the Spurs fan and we'll get his perspective, we'll get his thoughts, his opinions. And stay tuned. We're looking forward to that. Yes, people, this is probably the part of the show you clicked on to see most. We've got Keith on here. He's a big Spurs fan. Massive thanks to him for coming on to give us thoughts. Keith, the first thing I want to ask you about is the Spurs' confidence going into this game and your confidence, of course. Spurs are 4 out of 5 losses at the moment, and they've just shipped, is it 5 goals to Everton last night at the time of recording? What are your thoughts on that going into this game?
Yeah, well, confidence isn't particularly high, but at the same time, I believe we can get some kind of result out of this game because City are well, we are kind of a bogey team to City in the last few years, obviously with the Champions League game and just league games in general. So, not particularly confident in general, but I am relatively confident that we'll do better than people expect us to do.
If Spurs are to beat City on Saturday, where do you think the goals will come from? I assume your answer is Kane and Son, but our defense has been quite solid this season since we brought in Diaz. Do you think
Mhm.
the Spurs attack and midfield have what it takes to break us down?
I do actually. I think it all really hinges on how good a game Ndombele has. If
Mm.
he plays really well, which he can do, and he has done in several games, like he did in the reverse tie of this game, he's just that kind of player who can pick a lock in a defense. And I think if we are going to score against yous, I think Ndombele is going to be the key for that.
Yeah, just from a complete Spurs perspective here, I want to ask probably a good question to ask you, which is if you were to beat City this Saturday, do you think that will give you a massive boost to go on and improve your overall season? Because it's been quite up and down in terms of performances. It will be a massive win for you should it happen.
Yeah, it would be. It would be absolutely massive for us, and I think it'd be massive for Mourinho as well because obviously I think a lot of the fans are on his back at the minute and stuff like that, and stuff hasn't really been going for us. You look at last night, I think we were pretty unlucky against Everton, but I think at the same time, if we do manage to go to the Etihad, which is for me, it's the toughest ground in the league to go to, maybe bar Anfield, but.
Well, after we ran him up in Anfield last week,
Mm.
Disagree.
um, we're in fine form at the moment. We're scoring plenty of goals. And if I was a Spurs fan, I would fear for our defense or your defense, I should say. Do you? Because you shipped 5 goals to Everton last night. You're moving into the City game. We're scoring plenty of goals. What setup would you have in your back four, or what formation would you go with for Spurs?
I think we have to go with a 4-2-3-1 at the minute, kind of dropping into a 4-3-3 as we go back.
Mm.
I think a back line we have to go with. If Ori is fit, he has to play because well, he's just been miles better than Doherty. And then, well, Sanchez coming off the back of 2 goals, I would assume he'd play. Toby probably your other centre half, and then Ben Davis at left back. I just don't really want to see Dyer at the minute because he's just in awful form, and if he plays, then I just consider us 1-0 down already.
Come here, I want to ask a question about Mourinho. I've seen a lot of calls from Spurs fans for Mourinho out. Where do you stand on that?
I've never really called for a Spurs manager to go. I think I've just always kind of backed them till the end, and if they go, that's what happens. I've been the same with Poch, I've been the same with Villas-Boas, Redknapp, anyone. I don't want him to go particularly, but I do think he definitely needs to up his ideas, or he will be gone pretty soon.
Do you think if you were to come to the Etihad on Saturday get a result, it would completely change the mind of the Spurs fans who were maybe calling for Mourinho out?
I don't think so because a lot of the reason a lot of Spurs fans want him out is more so they're happy to play the bigger games the way we have, and because we've obviously got results and we've done quite well in them, but it's the negative style of football overall that has really kind of turned a lot of Spurs fans on him, I think.
Yeah, it is quite negative from every time I've seen Spurs play. It's quite negative.
It's
Darragh, do you
very
want to jump
hard.
in? Is there anything you want to ask?
Well, I think it's pretty much covered everything, but I've actually seen a bit about Toby Alderweireld. Do you think now? Because obviously, I didn't think it was particularly great last night. Well, none of them were, but if he wasn't the start, right? If he was, because I've seen a lot of abuse going towards him. If he wasn't the start, who do you think will go in over him? Basically, what I'm saying.
Have to be Rodon, the Welsh kid we brought in from
Yeah.
Swansea. He's actually been pretty good, and I just
From
think if you play him in a game like this, I think he'll get caught out because on the ball he's pretty poor, but defensively he is actually quite good.
I actually thought he was quite good against Liverpool, and then he gave away the goal, so that's going to tarnish it. But I really didn't think he was that bad against Liverpool until who was it?
Yeah.
Who scored that one? Mane, wasn't it? He just kind of fell
Yeah.
asleep. Yeah. Well, that pretty much covers it, doesn't it? So, Keith, what do you think? What do you think the score will be on Saturday?
I'm gonna go for a hopeful 2-1 Spurs.
Ooh,
What about yourself, Hugh?
I'm gonna say 4-0 Manchester City.
Oh,
Oof.
What do you reckon?
I go 3-1 City. I go 3-1 City. I'm confident.
I admire Keith's optimism. We're gonna put Keith.
I admire
Keith's,
your optimism, man. What?
I don't see why we can't ship 4 on them. They just shipped 5 to Everton. We're going to put Keith's starting 11 prediction for Spurs on the screen now. I want to say a massive thanks to Keith for coming on. As always, it's not the easiest thing to do to come on to a rival fans channel. So big up him. We'll leave his social media in the description. So be sure to follow him if you would. And yeah, we'll have a review up for this game the day after, hopefully. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.